Hello social media. On the 18th of September in 2019, the world media informed us that preparedness plans for a global catastrophe were being planned by the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board. Not many people took much notice, even though both the World Health Organization and the United Nations both made this information known on the same day, 18th of September. So on that same day, a report was released that had been commissioned by this Global Monitoring Board for Preparedness, commissioned by the Johns Hopkins Centre, which we know is at the forefront of what is occurring and the information we're being told. So this Global Preparedness Monitoring Board, which was convened in 2018, released on the September the 18th, the very first publication of this document, an annual flagship publication that has been created from the Johns Hopkins Centre for Health Security. So there's evidence that on the 18th of September, the Johns Hopkins Centre, the World Health Organization, UN and the media and this monitoring board all released information on the same day that a global preparedness event was about to take place. So the recommendations made by the Johns Hopkins Centre were at this 2018 meeting were presented to the Global Preparedness Board, who then released it on this date. Now that meeting in 2018 involved the following 70 contributors. So basically you've got everyone from the United Nations, the World Bank, World Health, CDC, US Department of State, DARPA, Human Services, Homeland Security, US Defense Department, the whole shebang. I'll leave the link so you can check it out yourself. And in that meeting it was established that a global preparedness plan would have to include a lethal pathogen that causes a pandemic, because that's the only criteria that fits for the Department of Defense to get involved in different countries and with different agencies. So with all this, we can see that a global preparedness plan was put in place by the Johns Hopkins Centre, created using all the security agencies in the America, and that this information was then relayed to the public on that same date, 18th of September, which is also the anniversary of the birth of the national security agencies. So now they've agreed that it has to be a pathogen, that this pandemic, respiratory pathogen pandemic preparedness event is going to follow. So now we have the report commissioned by them and given to this monitoring board. Now the list of people on this, contributors and people who they've involved in this report, include the World Health Organization, World Bank, the Russian Health Department, Ministry of Health for Russia, Department of Health for England, the NIH, HHS, Wellcome, the Oxford University, PATH. I'll leave the link to that as well. So then now they've made the decision to have this exercise, they decided what they're going to do to create it, why they have to use this pathogen, and they've now created the preparedness documents for it with the help of all these agencies. The Global Preparedness Monitoring Board then released their document in which they discussed the need for the worldwide cooperation for preparedness and the need for 2 exercises that will be from September 2019 to September 2020. And we can also see that the World Health Organization already had these development plans in place from 2006 as to how they would go about developing an exercise project, which coincided with the UN's One Health initiative. One Health, one delivers one leader, one programme, one budget, one... Yeah, we can see where this is going. So they both, at this point in time, have decreed in 2006 that this is where we're headed. and we can clearly see how this One Health strategy has been incorporated into this reported pandemic stroke exercise. And we can also see that the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board are delivering the UN's development plans via this exercise. Meanwhile, health agencies like Public Health England and World Health Organization all have their own simulation exercise manuals. So given that the Department of Health for England was instrumental in the 2019 document that was created for members of this monitoring board, it stands to reason that the Department of Health for England knows that an exercise, a pandemic preparedness exercise, was in place. And just as a reminder of what the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board states, that the UN must strengthen coordination mechanisms with the World Health Organization and other countries to coordinate international simulation exercises. And of course, the World Bank was in on the act. Now, the Johns Hopkins document that was presented on behalf of the Global Monitoring Board gives accolades to a woman called Jennifer Nuzzo, who is also involved in global health security, but is also actually involved in this so-called pandemic. Nuzzo presides over a document that discusses non-pharmaceutical interventions, and which obviously includes social distancing. And the document, this is September of last year, which talks about the requirements of acceptance by the public and how they would need to, use evidence-backed reasoning and get the public to accept the social distancing. Whilst during the planned exercise stroke pandemic, she writes this article, which she mockingly, I might add, states that they need a new nationwide surveillance programme in real time, and that it would have to be coordinated with different agencies, governments and the leaders in the private sector. What a mockery when that's exactly what they're doing, and what she herself is even involved with. We're expected to believe that a plan to have all the countries worldwide involved in a pandemic preparedness plan for a year has got nothing to do with what's just happening now, and that this pandemic monitoring board includes the Chinese CDC and Fauci and others, which puts them in a position to create this whole saga that started in China. And we have to cast our minds back to the 2018 meeting at the Johns Hopkins Center, in which the US Department of Defense stated that it has several military goals that align with this global health security plan. It also explains why there was a number of high-level security meetings that occurred from September onwards in the run-up to this so-called pandemic. African countries' claims of having this pandemic also coincide with the preparedness plans that were created, as we can see with these articles here. Well, sadly I haven't got much more time for anything else. I'm going to do a video later on to show the connection between the National Health Service and all the security agencies that are now trying to worm their way into it, and what that means for the public. Well, I hope that has been helpful, and I can't stress enough how important it is that you warn people about taking part in the track and trace, because it is an experiment, and it was discussed in this document that they prepared beforehand. So I have shared an article on my website which goes into depth about track and trace and the security agencies' involvement. You can go and check that out. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later.